Today we'll look into a scenario in which Ukraine forms this empire, and you know why? Because it's Ukrainian Independence Day. And the first part is, well, they defeat Russia. Well, it starts with an aggressive war, which goes wrong for Russia, and they start pushing back. As they push back, taking all of Kherson back. And they push into Crimea. And they kick Russia out of the south. And they manage to push up. And Ukraine becomes an empire. But then they end up in the other universe. The Empire universe. They have taken Crimea back. And all of eastern and southern Ukraine is back under their control. And they push in, crossing the bridge into Russia. And they push up, trying to take the rest of the Azov coast of Russia. They surround a port city, a strategic port city. They push up from Crimea. And they decisively take away Russia's access to the Black Sea. And they push down. And their empire has begun. Glory to Ukraine is how the thing goes. And Russia, who has now had an embarrassing loss. And now forces from Ukraine's north push in. And, well, Russia lost Belgorod. And they got pushed up. Supply lines have been, well, almost destroyed. Most supply lines have been started to the border here, which Russia uses to their advantage, pushing back in. In the northern Luhansk. But Ukraine, with smart strategies, surrounds it. And now Russia's economy starts free falling. Russian morale is lost, which allows Ukraine to push up and across. And, well, they make it across. And they push down in front of the Caucasus Mountains. Which Ukraine starts becoming imperial once they push in. Surrounding Volgorod. They take Volgorod. The south just falls. Well, Russian winter comes. And they get pushed back. But They then harness the power of wheat, their best crop growing. And they use the cold winter to their advantage. After they find out a way to make heat a weapon, Russia starts melting. And well, they push in. And through many miles, they start encircling Moscow. In the winter. You know who has managed to take Moscow before this? The Mongols and the Poles. Morale is completely lost. And many Russians view being taken over as liberation. And well, Russia has ceased to work as a nation. Ukraine Belarus comes to the defense of Russia. But Ukraine expected this, and they managed to push in. Well, Kaliningrad somehow got independence. Karelia has declared independence. Because they have no fear of Russia anymore. No one does anymore. Oh, they push up to the north. Stolen tanks from Russia are put into service. Good job. Russia mandates conscription, and they managed to do this. Before, well, they just fall back. Tuva declares independence. Which I believe looks like this. Yakutsk declares independence. And Yakutsk looks like this. And well, after this, they managed to take all the Russian lands east of the Ural Mountains. And they push across even further. As well, Russia is just weak. And the barren wasteland of Siberia falls. And then to the final standing point of the Russian state. Vladivostok. Which, at this point, North Korea joins. Why? And the mighty force of the people of Ukraine just swarm in. And make it a puppet state. Why not? They also make a Siberian puppet state because it's too much land to control. Let me make this a puppet. Well, while they annex these lands. And NATO has just ended because, well, they're in the universe with no NATO now. Ukraine is now the world hegemon, the leader of the world. Well, they're only the second strongest nation. Now, they have puppets stretching across Russia. Well, since NATO doesn't exist because they're now in the universe without NATO. Well, they magically turn into an aggressor. No one's there to tell them what to do. And well, they declare war on Poland, Lithuania, and Kaliningrad. And they march their troops right in. Well, Germany joins, and Poland gets partitioned for the millionth time in history. Well, and this is where the partitioning ends. And both countries get lots of land. Germany then forms an alliance with Ukraine. After they annexed this part of, well, Poland. Ukraine annexed these lands, making a Polish puppet state. Well, Ukraine has basically free reign over the world. They then invade Moldova, which brings Romania in. But they basically have free reign. Because they have a very strong economy on their side. And the Ukrainian hryvnia is the most used currency. And Ukraine takes these lands, making the rest their Romanian puppet state. And they do this. And they invade Slovakia and Hungary. And they push across. And they draw the border here with their newest puppet of Hungary, Slovakia. Well, they also then divided it between Hungarian and Slovakian land. And they push into Bulgaria. Well, it goes well. Their campaign in Bulgaria goes really well. They managed to establish a Bulgarian puppet. Well, they invade Turkey because, well, why not? Ukraine needs an empire. And they never had an empire in history. Oh wait, the Kievan Rus. Crimean cognate. They take Istanbul and they push across the coast. Eventually, Turkey gives in to their demands. They can maintain independence if they give all their coastline. All their coast of the Black Sea. And then they push into the Caucasus nations. And with the lack of cooperation, well, they all just fell. And then they make a big puppet in the south called the United Caucasus Republic. Because, well, why not? And they become the strongest nation in the world. And then they have one more country left on their hit list, which is Latvia, which is Estonia faring well. Invasion forms an alliance and pushes into Latvia. They take this area while Ukraine takes, well, the rest. And what the treaty states. Estonia shall gain these lands. A Latvian puppet is made. Ukraine annexes, well, this land. And that's it for the Ukrainian Empire. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. And this is Ukrainian Independence Day, marking their independence from in 1991, I think, of the Soviet Union. Well, they formed a global empire, definitely, with puppets. Called North Korea puppet. They get nothing from that but a bunch of coal. And thank you for viewing. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Wild Mapper out.